Y'all, the reunion was giving. Okay, Nick and Vanessa, they done opened up them comments and they heard, baby, Netflix was about to get rid of them. They done heard at the end of last season that Netflix was considering getting rid of them. And they done fixed it. Okay? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I just want to start off by giving you guys a tremendous thank you. A tremendous thank you, because honestly guys, over the course of this Love is Blind season, I have been able to connect with so many of you guys. I have grown my channel from literally 0 subscribers as of a month ago, literally a month ago yesterday, to over 300 subscribers in a matter of 4 weeks, which is amazing. Which is amazing to me. I have thousands and thousands of viewers on these videos, and honestly, so many of you guys have just been so sweet, so kind. Your comments have been nice. And even the non-nice comments, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. Okay? No hard feelings there. But honestly, I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you guys have made this such an amazing journey. I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes about my channel. If you want to fast forward, there will be chapters. I promise there will be chapters in this video today, because I don't. But I put it in my editing notes, there will be chapters. But I do want to talk a little bit about it because I did get laid off last month and I started this YouTube as a passion project. Like, I wasn't out here like, oh my God, YouTube is going to replace my job. I know the journey to monetization is huge. But the one thing I really want to tell you guys is I'm actually a lot closer to monetization than y'all would think. I am actually already at the required amount of watch hours to get AdSense. You need 4,000. I am over 4,000 because y'all have been showing out and watching the videos. And yes, the Love is Blind videos have been the main ones doing well, but even my other videos, you guys are showing out and you guys are watching those videos, and I am so grateful for that. The biggest bottleneck that I have now is that subscriber count. Now, I ain't gonna hold y'all, the subscriber count is not equating to the watch hours, okay? I need 1,000 subscribers. I think right now, as of filming, I'm at about 320 something. So I still need a little bit more subscribers, which is totally understandable, but I am so close. I am so close. And I never would have imagined I would have been anywhere close to monetizing my channel. I just started this as a passion project while I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do in my life. And it has turned into so much more. Like, I feel like I need to make one of those YouTube change my life videos, because honestly, this has been amazing. It has been such a fun journey. And so I do want to say that the content is still going to continue to come after Love is Blind is over. I am going to still do a little bit more Love is Blind coverage, probably, if anything comes out, if anybody does interviews, if any tea comes out online, I will definitely do a little bit more coverage. But I also want to give a focus to the other content on my channel. That was kind of what I told myself once Love is Blind, like the season itself is over. I do want to put a big focus on the other content. And I want to just tell you guys a little bit of the other content that you could expect. Number one, pop culture recaps, pop culture tea, things like that. I definitely want to talk about that. That is going to be a focal point and a very important thing for me to put on this channel. Also, TV show and or movie reviews, those will still come as well. Let's chat. This is a segment that I want to do where I find either a post or a video, like a TikTok, anything, and I talk about it. I give my opinion, and then you guys will also be able to chop it up and give your opinions in the comments. I think it'll be great. I really am excited for that segment, as well as just some personal videos. This is not going to turn into a vlog channel, I promise you, but there might be a vlog here, vlog there. I have a few really fun trips planned, so I do want to vlog those. So that's just a little bit of a taste of the content to come on this channel. So, as I said before, if you think you might want to subscribe, I do have other videos up that are non-Love is Blind, so you could check out a little bit of the other content that you might see here on this channel. And if you are subscribed, please continue to support and comment. You guys be showing out, no joke. Like, when I premiere my videos, I be seeing some of y'all liking it already before the video even started. That's how I know y'all are riding for me, and that is amazing. Like, I love that. I am a small black creator, you know. And this is just a passion project. And now, like, I have two paid projects in terms of like work. So that is still going to be happening. No worries. I'm still going to be working on my YouTube channel full time. Nothing's going to change. Y'all still going to get your videos 3 to 4 times a week. So nothing is changing there. But I think it's just been so fun. And I love that also, you know, I'll be working and making money again. And so I can invest more into this channel. So I can continue to buy equipment. So I can continue to do things like I already went out and got a camera. I started literally filming on my little crappy iPhone, and now I have a camera. I'm filming on my camera because I was like, I love this so much because of y'all, because of how you guys have been treating me. I literally went out and bought a camera, like, or my fiance did. Okay, my fiance got me a camera because he saw how much I was enjoying this, and I'm like talking to him every day about my videos and like how they're doing, the analytics, the comments, like, it has just been so amazing for me, and I do hope that YouTube one day can be a focal point of my life. I'm in this weird in-between period where I feel like I've realized I don't really want to be in the corporate cycle my whole life. I just feel like it's not stable or reliable, and I do want to come into this commentary space. I went to school for journalism, so being in media commentary is my dream, and being able to do it on YouTube at my own pace would be something I love. So I know this is long. I know you're here for Love is Blind, but I hope at least some of you guys listen to this. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And as I said, I'm very close. I am already at the watch hour goal. I just need them subscribers. So if you like the content, I'm not even saying you gotta subscribe right off this video. Check out the rest of the content on my channel. Keep in mind, I was a new YouTuber, so I was getting some things worked out. And then if you like, please subscribe. Okay, let's get into Love is Blind. Okay, baby. Let me say this. This was a good reunion. This was a good reunion. Vanessa and Nick heard that Netflix wanted to get them out. Even if that was just rumors, even if all those posts we saw were just rumors, Nick and Vanessa were like, oh, we gotta get it together because the people don't like us. They calling for us to get out. Y'all remember at the end of last season, there was literally GoFundMes that were out there to get them out. So they heard that and was like, oh, okay, we got to give them what they want. They don't like us. So, baby, I thought this reunion was very good. I have a lot of notes. This going to be a long one. That's why I say I'm going to put chapters so you could hear what you want to hear and then you could skip what you want to skip. But please watch the whole thing, okay? I'm saying you could skip, but y'all ain't allowed to skip. You ain't allowed to skip, okay? Watch the whole thing. Watch the whole thing. Put it on in the background. I know y'all be cleaning and driving and stuff. Just put it on in the background. On your phone. It's okay. I know y'all be up to stuff. Anywho, let's get it going. Let's get right into it. So we started this reunion off with it's from the actual stage of Love is Blind. So they were like, had this cute little compilation scene at the beginning of all of them in the pods, and, you know, certain couples were in the pods, and that's cool, I guess, that they had it right there on the actual set as opposed to just like a random set somewhere. We also had a bunch of returning people. So I'm gonna just run down the returning people and then their updates so we can get into the real reunion. So first we had Kwame and Chelsea. They still look like Kwame still looks like he is just got the ick from her. He looks like he does not want her. Kwame and Chelsea's big update is that Chelsea is casting for Love is Blind now. Don't go send her hate, okay? Because apparently she started casting with season 8. So she has not casted this season, but that's their big update. Because of that, they can now travel more. They can kind of have a more carefree life because they're not held down by Chelsea's job. Okay. Alexa and Brennan. Alexa's pregnant. That's their update. Brennan was extremely drunk at the end. Sorry, y'all. My smart speaker went up. My smart speaker went off. Anywho, girl is pregnant. We'll call her girl because I can't say her name because my speaker. Girl is pregnant, and Brennan was very drunk at the end. Whatever they had in that Love is Wine, Brennan was drunk, baby. When he was asking questions of Miss Lachey, that was funny. Miss Lachey was like, what you say? That was hilarious. Okay, next. Tiffany and Brett. Their update is that they're traveling and they're planning to buy a house in Portland. Good for them. Love to see it. Beautiful couple. They also had Giannina and her man. He is not from the show, though. Not sure why they had him here, but she's pregnant with a baby boy, and they have 2 different names picked out depending on whether he looks spicy. Ain't Giannina white? Isn't she Italian? That reminds me of a TikTok that I saw of Jessica's the other day where she said that she's like, she's also just like completely white. And in the comments, everybody was like, I thought you were Latina. And I was like, I thought Jess was Latina too, but she admitted she's like Italian and something else. And I was like, oh damn, this girl is just white. Okay, anyway, we had Izzy. Oh no, we had Matt and Colleen. They still look scared. Like, Colleen still looks scared. I hope my good sis is okay. But their update is that they moved into a townhome finally. They live together. I hope my good sis is okay, because she looks scared. I don't know. Them two, their relationship is very tense. Same with Kwame and Chelsea. They were sitting on opposite sides of that couch. And then lastly, we have Izzy and Micah, who were on Perfect Match. That's the 2 of them, that's their updates. Okay, let's get into the real reunion. Baby, we start with Johnny and Amy. So their updates, very little. I mean, they're happy together. Their family spent Christmas together in Charlotte. Apparently their dads call each other like every day, and everyone's getting along well. They are literally in the perfect relationship. They admit that they had more conversations about birth control and that she's not on birth control. He didn't get a vasectomy, but they're fine. I mean, girl, yes, people can do natural family planning, especially if you do it right. You will not get pregnant. Like, it's very common. I mean, it's not like every single minute of every month you're fertile. That's just not how it works. You can do natural family planning. You can do planning around your cycle. Someone chimed in and was like, girl, you got self-control. And I thought that was funny. So Jeramey, let's just get right on into it. Jeramey, Sarah Ann, and Laura. Baby, they brought the damn heat with that one. They brought the heat. They was not letting Jeramey get out the kitchen today. They was not letting Jeramey get out the kitchen. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. So they start off by saying, wow, Jeramey, you know, what is your big update? We know that you're together with someone. Baby, they bring out Sarah Ann in a prom dress and that glitter. Baby, what the hell was she wearing? Baby, she looked like she was going to prom in the early 2000s. Girl, what in the world did Sarah Ann have on? I understand they from the South, and I don't know. No shade to anyone from the South, but I feel like sometimes some parts of the South be very behind on trends. And I understand that like Y2K is coming back, but girl, not like that. That's like Club Libby Lou type stuff, if you remember that store. Like, she had a prom dress on. So they confirm that they are together and that they are currently living together and that they have actually been together since the jet ski incident from a few episodes back. So those two are apparently in a relationship, so they claim. I don't know if I'm buying it. Anyway, Laura is on Zoom from Barcelona for work. I don't know. Some part of me tells me that Laura just didn't want to have to face Sarah Ann in person, but that's just me. That's just me. Maybe she really was there. So they go right into it with Jeramey. They bring up the ex-fiance. Jeramey says it is not true. He is standing by this story that he sold the house, then he came on Love is Blind. Lie to someone else, Jeramey. Don't lie to me. Lie to somebody else. Both Sarah Ann and Laura, though, do confirm that he mentioned that he had a fiance in the pods. So I guess that part is true. There was a lot of speculation about whether or not they knew, but both girls confirmed that yes, he did indeed mention this fiance. So I don't know. I guess the timeline is just fishy, but they were aware of it. So they jump into the location. What happened with your location, Jeramey? Jeramey says he did not intentionally lie about his location, but baby, he is stuttering. Nick and Vanessa have their foot on this man's neck. They are like, why did you say that? Like, why did you lie on purpose? Did you think she wasn't gonna find out? He's like, I didn't intentionally lie. I mean, that man was trying to form the lies in his head. He couldn't form the lies fast enough. You remember that's why in that other TikTok video with the girl's accusations, he had to have that notebook because he had to write the lies down prior to the video. baby, on that reunion stage, he could not come up with the lies fast enough. They keep on going. So Laura chimes in and she says both Sarah Ann and Jeramey were going around telling people that parking lot story, that they never left the parking lot. So I guess she's basically insinuating that they corroborated that story together, that he had never left the parking lot. Okay, so Laura does say that she stayed up, and like once he got back, he was slurring his words. He was doing over. Jeramey chimes in and says, "You ain't stay up. You were not on the couch." Laura's like, "I didn't say I was on the couch. I did not say I was sitting down on the couch waiting for you. I said I was awake when you got back." Like Jeramey is trying to grasp at any little lie, any little discrepancy in Laura's story that he can to try to prove his point. And it's like, baby, you cheated on this girl. You done cheated on her. Just admit that. You done cheated on this girl. So, anyways, Sarah Ann chimes in and is like, "You're a pick-me! You're a pick-me!" She starts chiming in calling Laura a pick-me, and they go back and forth for a couple of minutes about being a pick-me. And I'm like, baby, Sarah Ann, you are the true pick-me of this situation. I am sorry. You reached out to a man that was engaged. I don't buy it. And I told you guys already, I'm not buying this. Oh, the show's fake. Everybody knows the show is fake, so it's no big deal. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. I don't care. Laura clearly took the show seriously. And at the end of the day, what is the point of this if we're just watching like a fake something? I understand that reality TV is fake. But at the end of the day, at the minimal least, we have an expectation that people gonna get married. So I'm not buying the whole, oh, well, they know the show is fake. Anyway, let's keep on going. So they still both are standing on that they were just talking until 5 a.m. They're standing on it. That story is ironclad with those two. So they ask Laura if she ever had any doubts that she was going to marry Jeramey. And she says up until the incident, she did not. She was convinced that she was going to go to the altar. And it was really this situation that changed her mind and reframed that everything was going on. She keeps talking about how that day, Jeramey had met Laura's entire family and told them how he really wanted to be with her. He really liked her. Her family seemed to really like him. And remember, we saw that on the show, you know, her meeting the family and even how him meeting the family and how the family even stuck up for him when, you know, she was nitpicking him a little bit. And Laura talks about how literally that same night is when he told Sarah Ann that he was breaking everything off and everything went haywire. So it's like, at least from Laura's claim, she really was all in. It was never that it was wishy-washy or anything of that nature. So Sarah Ann and Laura actually had an unseen chat at the beach party, and we get a little recap of it. And baby, this Sarah Ann can talk, okay? I know I can talk. I know I be in these videos talking for an hour. But baby, Sarah Ann be talking and she don't let you get a word in edgewise, baby. Oh my gosh. So she apologizes to Laura in this chat, by the way. She apologizes to Laura about the DM she sent Jeramey. However, she claims she wasn't planning to ruin the relationship. She just wanted closure. Okay. She thought it was okay since they weren't married quite yet to send the message. I'm like, girl, it's just not looking good for you. It's not. So Laura responds to basically all of Sarah Ann's babbling, and she's like, look, I asked Jeramey if he wanted to be with you, if there was any chance that he wanted to propose to you or that he was going to propose to you instead, and he said absolutely not. So she tells her in this clip that Jeramey was totally different in the pods, that he was not acting like this in the pods, and that he is a robot. She was like, he is a robot. He is a total robot. He's a different guy. This is not the man that I knew in the pods. And she tries to warn Sarah Ann. Now, I have seen a few theories floating online that I actually kind of believe as well, that basically Sarah Ann and Jeramey were not really together for this reunion, but they wanted to save face. And I absolutely believe that. These two both seem like the type that want to be right so bad. Neither one of them seems like they want to be wrong about things. So I do definitely get the vibe that maybe for the reunion, they wanted to save face. They may not necessarily fully be together or be like 100% good, but that was definitely the vibe that I got as well, that maybe they were not 150% together the way they want to claim that they was together. So anyway, we go back. And Jeramey's denying. Deny. Baby, I wrote in my notes, Jeramey denies every fucking thing. Because Jeramey be acting like he doesn't remember what he said. He gets into a little squabble with Jimmy because apparently he had said something about how he ain't want to be like Jimmy or Jimmy's the worst in the pods or whatever. And he says, oh, I don't remember saying that. Oh, I don't remember that. Because Jimmy's like, damn, I got dragged into everything. Low-key, I was starting to feel bad for Jimmy myself. I was like, damn, y'all dragging Jimmy. And he was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember saying that, but I'm sorry. And Jimmy's like, yeah, okay, bro. Like, no one's fucking with Jeramey and Sarah Ann. Nobody. Not one person on this stage likes those two because they are always up to some bullshit and they always lie. It's like, just stand on it. If you're gonna, be together, you're gonna do Laura dirty, stand on it. I think that's really what starts to annoy people is when you don't stand on your shit, All right, y'all, my camera was finna die, girl. I had to get that charging cord because I got a lot more to talk about. But yeah, like I said, stand on it. That was my biggest frustration with Sarah Ann and Jeramey is that the two of them would not stand on anything. They deny. And to me, it's like, you're already caught. Nobody fucks with y'all. So just tell the truth. But that is basically, let me see. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in my Jeramey notes. Oh, okay, yeah. They do ask Sarah Ann what her relationship is with the other women. And she says she does not talk to anyone. Apparently, there is a group chat that they were all part of, and they, booted Sarah Ann out the chat. And Chelsea was the one today that was like, I didn't come to play. Because I think someone else tried to deny it. Maybe Laura tried to deny it and be like, no, we didn't do that. And Chelsea's like, oh, we did. Chelsea's like, we did. We definitely kicked her out the group chat. I thought that was funny. Because Chelsea was literally like, yeah, we kicked her out the group chat. So she says she doesn't talk to anyone, but Chelsea also chimes in and says she follows all of the men. She follows all of the fiancés is what she said, but she doesn't talk to or follow any of the other women. Apparently she blocked the other women on Instagram. I guess after the party, it didn't go so well. So also, they've all seen Jeramey after the show because the big thing is that Jeramey and Sarah Ann are on and off. They already admitted that because Chelsea says, I've seen you twice after the show and every single time I've seen you, you and Sarah Ann are not together. Jeramey says, look, we've gone through hard times and, we have our ups and downs. But at the end of the day, we have we have moved in together. We have decided that this is right for us. And so, despite everything, we've worked on it. And I don't know, Jeramey, it's like, are we supposed to look at you guys and think this is a beautiful love story? Like the reality is no one likes you because you did people dirty. No one's gonna hear your love story and say, this is beautiful. We love this for you. When first of all, both of you guys have been really nasty to other people. And second of all, you have no remorse. You come on the stage and you act like you guys were entitled to be together when you did someone dirty in the process. It really would have been one thing if Jeramey went to Laura flat out and said, hey, look, I don't think this is working for me. I don't think this is gonna work. And then he reached out to Sarah Ann. Yeah, that would have still been a little sus, but it would have been fine because, right, you're not with her anymore. But it's the fact that you didn't even have the balls. Neither one of you. And I understand that at the end of the day, Sarah Ann didn't owe Laura loyalty. It is Jeramey. Jeramey owed that loyalty. But at the end of the day, you didn't even have the cojones to come up and say, hey, I don't want to be with you. This is not working. So I feel like that's the thing. They're coming on the stage acting like everybody's so mean to them for no reason and they don't deserve this. And it's like, look, people don't like you because you did people dirty. And at the end of the day, people aren't going to like somebody who did people dirty. So that's really one of the biggest things with them. So Sarah Ann does say that she loves Jeramey with all of her heart, and you know, this is the man that she wants to be with. And I'm like, girl, but you guys are on and off at least twice since you've been together in the past year. Y'all came in introducing that you've been together for a year, but in reality, you've broken up multiple times within that year. And then you decided, hey, let's just move in. Because that always ends well. So the last thing with their segment is Laura. They do ask Laura, is she dating? And she says, yes, she is dating. And also Laura is like, they're like about to be like, all right, Laura, see you later. Thanks for coming. And Laura's like, wait, what about Bean Dip? And I'm like, girl, are we still talking about Bean Dip? And she goes, look, I just want to say that I apologize profusely to AD. We were really close friends in the pods, and that's where the whole Bean Dip thing came from, but I apologize to her profusely, and you know, she knows I'm sorry, and blah 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 blah, like running that mouth 1,000 miles a minute. And Jeramey also chimes in and says, yeah, shouldn't have brought that up, sorry. And I'm like, are we really still talking about Bean Dip? But I mean, okay, I guess according to Laura, they're okay now, those two. Bean Dip is no longer a problem, I guess. All right, on to Trevor. Baby, this scene was crazy. This scene was crazy, okay? So Trevor comes on out, and they literally get straight to it. They get straight to it. And they ask him, were you with somebody while you were on the show? Trevor is sitting there. They pull up the text on the screen. And not, like, it ain't even like they pulled up a screenshot. They had the producers edit it, animate it, back and forth, with the iPhone message sound. Baby, when I was watching this and I was like, oh my God, the iPhone message sound, I was on the floor. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that they did this. So they animated back and forth. So they asked Trevor. Trevor claims he was never dating her officially. He claims that they were just talking and had some kind of like romantic thing going on, but he never actually asked this girl to be his girlfriend. Okay. Then he says they were close, but they were never officially dating. Baby, I'm gonna need men to stop doing this. Stop doing this. Stop this in-between stuff. If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If you're doing all the lovey-dovey stuff, we see in the messages you were talking about you were going to marry this girl. Don't try to come and play us on the reunion and say, hey, I wasn't even with her like that. That ain't even really my girlfriend. Oh, okay, that's not your girlfriend now. Okay, Trevor. So he says he wanted to go on the show because the girl that he was originally dating, this girl, is what he would typically go for in real life. And he wanted to go on the show to see if he could be with somebody else. Basically, he wanted to see if he could go for somebody and find feelings and have feelings for somebody that's not typically like what he goes for in real life. Okay. Now they ask him about Chelsea, you know, what about Chelsea? Would you have been with her? Would you have married her? He stands 10 toes, says, I would have been with Chelsea. If we were together, I would have been with her. I would have married her. He says, we were toxic, you know, the two of us, but I'm a toxic guy. He starts going into kind of like that thing where he's like, I know I'm toxic. I know I need to work on myself. We were both toxic, but I would have been with her anyway. Whew. So they asked Chelsea about this whole thing, like how Chelsea feels. And she says, well, I had an intuition not to pick him. At this point, y'all, sorry, my camera, I think, is like overheating. Okay, anyway, I think it's okay. Oh, overheating symbol. Yeah, it's like overheating for some reason. We all good though. But At this point, Trevor is on the stage having a panic attack, y'all. I've never seen something like this on the show. He was literally having a full-blown panic attack. After he starts answering those first questions, they're asking him more stuff. He literally goes, I had a whole thing planned, but, and he has this long pause. I honestly thought this was edited for the show. I did not realize he actually had this long pause. And apparently it was worse. Baby, there was somebody who posted on Reddit. Let me actually read y'all the comment, because somebody posted on Reddit that they were actually in the live audience and it was worse than what we saw. Let me get you this real quick. So this person says, some girl who was in the live audience was answering questions about the reunion last night. She said there were a lot more text messages than what was shown, and there were also videos apparently from the ex-girlfriend. I can't remember if she said they ended up playing them, but she said that Trevor apparently was having a panic attack and asked to leave several times and said something along the lines of, I don't even want to see her face. Can I please leave? Apparently he was extremely paranoid and profusely looking around the stage because he thought they were going to bring her out. They had to tell him, don't worry, she's not here. I want y'all to tell me in the comments if you think he was acting. I'm gonna be honest. You came on the show with a full-blown relationship and you were dishonest from the get, basically. And so I am led to believe this man was acting. I think his long pause, I thought he was trying to fake cry. It reminded me a lot of a few seasons ago. Oh God, I forget. Irina, when she was trying to fake cry on stage and she couldn't do it. That's what this reminded me of a lot. Because I just wasn't buying it. I was not buying that this man was so distraught that he just could not, like, he was just in his head, like, couldn't handle it. And we saw even on the show him say, can I please leave? And he left. But I think the reality is he didn't think they was going to call him out. He did not think that they were going to call him out. I think they were already pissed enough as is, and it is floating around that apparently there is a clause in the contract that you need to be single. And I know there's been other contestants where there's been speculation that they were not single, but there really hasn't been solid proof. But I think with Trevor, we saw messages with timestamps that he was not single. And he's even basically admitted to it on stage. So a lot of people said, hey, look, they probably threatened that he needed to show up at this reunion or he was gonna be in breach of contract. I don't think he thought that they were gonna grill him the way they did. Now, I will say this, I do think it is slightly hypocritical of Nick and Vanessa to be talking about, oh, you're on the show just for clout and it breaches the integrity of the show, and go so hard on Trevor when there's like 2 or 3 other people on this stage that are on Perfect Match, another reality show. You mean to tell me Jessica didn't go on there for clout? I'm just saying. I don't love that angle of everything, but I will say I do definitely think it was kind of unfair that they were doing that. But everything else I think was very justified, because I think at the end of the day, you came on here in a literal fake relationship. A fake relationship. Chelsea, said she forgave him on stage, but I think it was really crazy. So Trevor's ex did also chime in after the reunion. So let me also read her post for y'all. Let me get this real quick. So she says, I honestly did not expect Love is Blind Netflix, or Love is Blind, to address the text that in depth. I'm grateful for it, even if parts of the explanation for him were untruthful. I will clear up one thing. And so she clears up this one text here that says, Chelsea asks, and what if I did choose you? Because Chelsea was curious. And she literally puts up the text message here that says, oh God, why is it so blurry? She literally puts up the text here that says, definitely. When I was in the pods, I never questioned who I'd be with, even if I got engaged. It was always you and always will be you. So she brings that back up again, because I think we already saw that, but she brings it back up again that it was all fake. And so if that's the case, I'm sorry, but like, if you gonna be on that, Okay, guys, we back. Girl, my camera done got too hot because I'm too I'm hot right now about this reunion. But as I was saying, yeah, if it's all fake, like, I don't really feel that bad for Trevor. Look, I'm not one of those people who's here like, oh my God, the show is so real and da-da-da-da-da, this and that. But it's like, okay, you really came on here trying to play everybody. Now you're on stage crying because you're being held accountable. And yes, I do agree that there are other people on this cast who are not held as accountable as they needed to be held. I am not going to hold you on that. But I do think that don't do things and then think you're not going to have consequences for doing those things. Like, you're literally on the show crying. You're crying that your dog named Chelsea died on the same day Chelsea dumped you. You're sobbing. And then it turns out that you were a fraud the whole time. Like, I don't know. It's just not great behavior. So, oh, baby, this Trevor stuff is crazy. This stuff is crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, let's go on, though. Excuse me, yo. Ooh, girl. Okay, I am sneezing. Let's go on to AD and Clay. I feel like we really didn't get much of these two. I feel like I was expecting a lot more, and we really got almost nothing from them. Also, AD said a total of like 10 words during this segment. It was mostly Clay doing all of the talking. So, oh God, I did want to touch on the fact that Clay is claiming that because, you know, this white network, I guess Netflix, question mark, but he was claiming that this white network gave him a bad edit and that's why things look the way they did. Don't believe the rumors, basically. And I'm like, Clay, like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm tired of everybody talking about the edit, you know, because at the end of the day, they cannot edit something that you did not do or say. Yes, they can frankenbite things together and it sounds believable, but at the end of the day, if they are putting together something that you said something or did those things in that capacity. Also for Clay, I feel like it's odd because it's like, Clay, you got the least heat of a lot of the men. I feel like Clay was able to get away with a lot of behavior that was not that great because there were people that were far more menacing than he was. I think Clay, if we being honest, got a pretty decent edit. I really do. I really think his edit was good for everything that he, you know, we could have gotten on Clay about. So that was some outside the reunion tea. But like going back to the reunion, they say post-wedding, they did not speak for weeks. Clay said he didn't want to reach out because he wanted to give her space. He knew it was tough, but they admit that. So Clay does also talk about how apparently he did apologize after the fact to her mom and sisters for, you know, embarrassing her in the altar. Again, why did you bring her there in the first place? You knew you were going to say no for weeks. And yes, it should have been on AD to also not go. But at the end of the day, if you knew you were going to say no for weeks, I still don't get why you brought her to the altar. He says AD is the love of his life, and he claims that he made a big mistake saying no. AD is looking like she's still there. When he said that, you could tell in her eyes that she still felt something. I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you manipulating this girl like this? You know what you're doing. You know she's not fully over you. So what do? Oh, she's the love of my life. I made a big mistake. I regret it. Do you? But Clay does admit that he's in therapy again and he would date her again. And as he's saying all of these things, AD is just smiling from ear to ear. AD confronts him though, and she does say, look, you played in my fucking face. You played in my face, you know, and he's just sitting there shaking his head. Clay looked real mad this whole reunion. Why Clay looked like he was ready to fight this whole reunion? He claims he felt like he was being diagnosed on camera with red flags or daddy issues. Which again, I was like, diagnosed by the public or diagnosed by people around you? That was unclear to me because I was like, again, I feel like, yes, a lot of us have talked about Clay's behavior, But I feel like, again, Clay has gotten a pretty decent edit. I feel like I haven't even heard that many people talk about Clay having daddy issues. But okay. Um, but he said, you know, he goes on this whole spiel talking about how he wants to be a better man. It was tough to watch the conversation with his parents, but he really wants to let go of their baggage and he doesn't want to hold on to whatever it is that they had. And they do ask him like, hey, did your dad ever like apologize to you or what happened there? He says, well, you know, he didn't really say sorry per se. Like we have great banter, but he apologized in his own way. And I can relate to that. You know, I have a Caribbean mother, you know, Clay's dad's Guyanese. My mother is from Grenada. And I mean, even my father is like just an African-American from the South, you know, not just, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's African-American from the South. Like I feel like for a lot of older Black generations, whether you're of the diaspora, whether you're from an African-American, it's just not common in the culture for them to really sit down and say sorry and list out a bunch of things, which I think is, for a lot of us, that closure that we want, that closure that we'd like to see, but it doesn't happen. And I think if Clay really is happy with the way his father has apologized, I'm glad that is good enough for him. But I do hope during therapy, he still learns that like, you need to apologize in situations. You know, you need to be able to sit down and say, I was wrong. I was the problem. I fucked up, you know, rather than just being like, well, they're going to understand me. So he says he's in therapy and that I commend him for. I do love how a lot of men are becoming more in tune with their feelings and themselves and going to therapy. And there is a touching conversation between Brett and Clay where Brett's like, look, like Tiffany gave me the space to be who I need to be and to do that work. And I haven't been perfect, but I've been learning and I've been doing the best I can. And also like listening to her and her needs and what she would need from me as well. And it was nice. It was very nice to see. So look, I know that some of y'all might think I've been harsh on Clay. I actually feel like I've been very light on Clay compared to how I'd usually be with somebody who acted the way he did. But I do think for what it's worth, it is good to see that Clay seems to be making the strides. My question is it true? Because I feel like he was saying a lot of everything, but it's like, are we really acting on that? So we have yet to see. So AD did do an interview after the reunion.
It was a shock that he said no at the altar. I thought we had built a mutual agreement and understanding that we were in it for the long run, so it did catch me off guard when he said no. There were so many red flags with Clay, but Clay is a trying man, and I'm not the type to give up on a man that's trying. If he wasn't, then I would have walked away, but he tried every step of the way. Clay telling me he didn't want to let me down and didn't want to cheat also caught me off guard. One, it came out of the blue, and two, it did give me something to think about, like, what am I doing? Like, what's really going on? It was a hard no for me dating Clay after the no at the altar because you had your chance, and I gave you my everything, and going backwards just didn't make any sense to me. And I think right now I don't want to be his girlfriend after being his fiance. It just doesn't make sense to go backwards. Watching the show back, there's nothing differently that I would have done. I stood 10 toes. I'm proud of myself. I said what I said and I did what I did. I do believe love is blind. I feel like, if anything, my love is blind. I led with vulnerability. I did my absolute best, and there's nothing that I would have done differently.
A few of them did interviews with Extra, and AD was one of them because we did not get clarity on whether or not AD and Clay are together in the present day. We just didn't. They did not tell us. AD claims, however, that they are not together. I will insert the TikTok here, but she says they are not together. She's claiming that she could not date him afterwards, that for her, she did not want to go from being a fiance to being a girlfriend. For me, this really brings up the question, are these two pretending that they're not together? And which, if they are, and they are genuinely trying to work on things, and like I said, maybe if Clay's in therapy, like they really are just working on things behind the scenes without the cameras, without public intervention. And I totally get that, but I'm obviously confused because we saw that TikTok with the sister of them dancing at Thanksgiving and all of these different things. And then now AD is standing 10 toes down. Also, judging off their body language at the reunion, it did not seem like the two of them were together. I did not get that vibe from them. So I don't know. We shall see there about those two and what the deal is there. What the deal is there. Yeah, so, I mean, you know what? If AD and Clay are indeed maybe just working on things behind the scenes, they don't want to publicly say, then hey, maybe Clay really is making those changes and he genuinely is trying to be a better man. Someone did pull up pictures of his other ex, and she is dark-skinned, and I don't want to say she looks like AD because she doesn't, but she is a dark-skinned woman, so it doesn't, to me, seem like there's a colorism issue. I don't know what the issue is. There's been some speculation running rampant about certain things, about Kenneth and Clay, but I'm not gonna feed into that or repeat that on my channel. But yeah, so that's just that on that. Alrighty, then Amy and Johnny have a segment. I have nothing to say other than they are happy. Good for those two. They go into audience questions here, and then they have previous cast members read them. So the first question is for Jess about Autumn. If her daughter Autumn watched the show or what the deal is. She says that Autumn didn't watch the show in the entirety, but she has actually apparently met most of the female cast, which is, I mean, that's cool and that's nice. I do think in a more vulnerable state that she's never seen her before. So good for her there with her daughter. They asked Johnny and Amy about condoms and why condoms couldn't be a conversation. And this is where they reveal that they were not aware. Johnny says that he did not know anything about birth control before he talked to Jess. And I don't know why, but that's just so shocking and striking to me how little men truly know about women's reproductive systems, about birth control, about the side effects of birth control. Like, Johnny is not the first man that I've seen or heard that like literally does not have any idea about any of this. Whereas I feel like women, we have a little more idea of like the male reproductive system and things that go on. It's just like, I feel like men are very clueless about that. So yeah, it was very interesting. Johnny was like, I didn't know anything about birth control before I talked to Amy. And you know, he was like, honestly, like, I just assumed that every girl was on birth control. And I'm like, really? I don't know, it was feeling very weaponized incompetence. Like, I'm sorry. I know y'all like John. Do y'all like Johnny and Amy? I'm sorry, but when I was listening to some of these questions, I'm not gonna hold you. Something about Johnny I was not really feeling that much. I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm glad they're happy. And I'm not saying I see like anything for real, but just some of the answers he was giving to some of the questions, I was like, okay. I don't know. It was given weaponized incompetence. But this is where they reveal that they are not using birth control. I'm assuming they're using natural family planning. Good for them. Okay, so Sarah Ann is asked, does Jeramey share his locations? He says, yes, he shares his location. Jimmy, we get a little bit into Jimmy. So Jimmy's question is, how did your friend feel that Chelsea revealed on camera about you two having sex? Sorry. And Jimmy admits that, you know, the friend was very upset because, again, he had signed up to be on TV, but she did not. So she felt very upset that that was put out into the open. She felt very hurt by that. And I don't know, guys, what is y'all's take on this? Please let me know in the comments what y'all's take on this is. I think for me, I see both sides to a level. I still think Chelsea was kind of wrong for bringing this up on camera if it was discussed off camera. And I also feel like we know that Chelsea did it for a malicious purpose. I feel like it would be very different if like Jimmy was being caught in the act of something and then she brought it up. But I do just think it was kind of weird for her to bring it up in a drunken fight. Chelsea does say that she didn't even realize that she was bringing it up at the time. Like she was just talking and it just came out. She claims she did forget about the cameras. And it does seem like Jimmy was also like, you know, it was her right to express her feelings on it. I can't be mad at her for that. But they talk about that they were trying to work through it. They talk about that they were trying to work through it, but like it just didn't, you know, they both seem to be very tense still about this situation. Jimmy again does stand by the fact that this was kind of the breaking point in their relationship where it was a no. Like, he was literally like, at that point, I knew I was just kind of going through the motions, which I said that. I was like, it was clear after that second time when Chelsea literally like begged him to forgive her, that it was just clear that he was just doing it to do it. Like, I don't think he felt any type of real feelings for her after that. And I stand by that. I really don't think that it was the Megan Fox stuff that even brought Jimmy away from her or tore Jimmy away. I think originally he was in shock, but had Chelsea been like a really cool, confident, fun girl, I really think that Jimmy would have been able to work with it. I do think that it was her painful levels of insecurity. I mean, she's really insecure, and I feel like that insecurity became way too much for Jimmy and made it hard for him to stay with her. So they do talk about that. Let me see. Yeah, so Jimmy does admit that he should have let Chelsea go immediately after that fight, that big fight they had. But because they loved each other so much, it was hard for him. Baby, there is still more of this reunion. So much to talk about. So Jess and Jimmy at the lake party was also talked about. So basically, Jess admits she was not feeling any chemistry with Jimmy at the lake party, just attached to like the feeling that they might have had in the pods. That was really all that she felt. But she just felt like they were friends at the lake. Jess is being, I think, very PC. I think it's very clear that Jess had no interest in Jimmy. I'm gonna keep it a break with you. I think it's because of the way he looks. I'm gonna be honest. If Jess found Jimmy really attractive, I don't think she'd be having this like, oh, that's Chelsea's man and I respect him. I think it's like Jess wasn't really attracted to him like that in the first place. So she's just like, oh, yeah, that's Chelsea's man. Or whatever. But she is, look, I will give it to her. She did talk about how in interviews and things like that, they've been trying to get her to make fun of Chelsea and get into the Megan Fox thing. And again, mentioned that with the Nick Viall interview, it was clear he was trying to bait her to call the girl ugly. And it's like, what is wrong with you? And so I do appreciate that Jess has really been standing behind Chelsea and saying like, I don't like the hate. I don't like people making fun of her. Because I do think that that is really harmful. So, okay. They get into the Megan Fox comparison. Chelsea's like, look, it was just a silly comment that got blown overboard. And she says she's proud of how she's handled the comment. And I will give her, like, we have not seen Chelsea come and have a meltdown on the internet. We haven't seen her yell at anybody, put out any kind of angry stories. I still stand by the fact that Chelsea knew what she was doing, okay? I'm sorry. I think that she's kind of rolling it back when she realizes how crazy it sounds, but I still stand by the fact that I do think she knew what she was doing with the comment, okay? Just her being like, MGK's wife? But she said it was a stupid comment that got blown overboard. And then we have a brief, and so yeah. And then one more thing about Jimmy and Chelsea, because again, they are not made clear if they are dating at the end. However, Chelsea did a little interview with Extra after the reunion, and she admits, and I don't know why they didn't put this in the reunion, but she admits that they did actually date. She said that after they called off the wedding, they tried to date for around 4 days, but basically nothing changed. everything was still the same. And they both just kind of realized it was not going to work in this capacity. Maybe they could be friends. And it seems that they are friends. I do think that the TikToks that have leaked of them were on purpose. I really think that production wanted them to drama.
I feel that when Jimmy told me he didn't want to go to the altar, I was blindsided just because we had such a wonderful week leading up to that date. I feel like I got a lot of clarity I needed. We hit a really big speed bump that I feel like we navigated so well together. Overcoming that speed bump made me feel like we were on a really good path. That's marriage. Marriage is hard. It's not going to be easy. And we hit a really difficult time and we overcame it. So I felt so good. So I thought he was on the same page as I was, and he wasn't. Jimmy and I did try to make it work after he called off the wedding. We tried to date for 4 days. Nothing really changed. He realized he didn't want a relationship. And right now we're in a really good spot. He's been a wonderful support for me in this journey, this crazy, wild journey. He's been absolutely amazing. So we're in a really good spot as friends. I think that Jimmy and I just couldn't get on the same page. We were, you know, our ups were really up, our downs were really down, and we just couldn't get them to level out. And when we would have an argument, it would be a huge argument, and then we would overcome it, and we just couldn't find that level ground, and that's why we didn't work out. Meeting Trevor was exciting. I had this awesome connection with him in the pods. I feel like I was so blessed to have him a part of my journey. So meeting him was wonderful. It was so lovely. I loved getting to know him as a person. Him and I are just really good friends right now, and I'm so grateful to have his friendship. I would never in my life tell someone slightly what I resemble, who I resemble. That would never come out of my mouth ever again. Big regrets. I 1,000% believe love is blind. I had 2 wonderful, amazing connections with 2 incredible people. I fell in love with them sight unseen. I'm so blessed to have had the people a part of my journey. I have learned so much about myself and who I am as a person and what I want in a person and what I want in a partner and how I want to be as a partner. So this whole experience teaches you so much about yourself, but it also teaches you about who you want in your life. And I'm beyond grateful for the journey.
But yeah, so I think a lot of their videos were just simply to drum up some drama. I don't think the 2 of them are together. I think we know they both stay friends with their exes, so I think they're probably just friends. But I did think it was interesting how he held her hand during the reunion. Did any of y'all catch that when he like reached over and he like grabbed her hand a little bit? I was like, oh, Jimmy, what you doing there? So that was weird. That was very weird. And then we touch on AD, and AD is actually asked, oh, sorry, let's roll it back. This is long. I told y'all there was a lot. We do have a brief segment with Britt and Kenneth, and they're like, finally, like we get a segment. But they basically admit that they are just friends. They talk daily. Supposedly, Brittany has met all of Kenneth's students and all of the like other teachers at the school that he teaches at, and I guess they're very close in that way. Again, there's speculation out there. I'm not going to comment either way, but I do think it's very interesting, these 2. Yeah, I have questions. That's all I have to say there. But if they like it, I love it. We see the infamous Amber and Matt clip, okay? And baby, this man really did tell both girls the exact same thing. Baby, they brought it all on this reunion. He was really out here telling both girls the exact same thing. Both girls, back and forth. I was like, ooh. I was like, that's crazy. I mean, AD dodged a bullet, but why Miss AD admit that she met up with Matt? She met up with Matt. Apparently Clay didn't, well, Clay was sitting on that stage, face turned up. And they even turned to Clay and they're like, did you not know this? And he says, yeah, he knew. I don't believe him. He did not know that. He didn't know that. He did not know that, and he faked that he knew because he was embarrassed. Like, I don't know. I think he was embarrassed about his reaction, but it did not know that. But AD claims that she did connect with Matt after the show, and they actually went on a few dates. That first date they had was an apology date. You know, and she realized, oh, he kind of cute. I'm like, okay, AD, now you like you a little, you know? Okay, girl. Let me tell you, girl. So on their second date, I guess he cooked dinner. She was like, oh, this is chicken and rice. It was kind of normal. But on that date, they realized they had very different lifestyles. They had very different wants. Like, they just weren't going to be compatible. And that's what I said. I was like, I don't think AD and Matt would have ever worked out. I think they come from such different worlds. And I think sometimes that works if there's like commonalities, if that makes sense. But I think with these two, they have totally different lifestyles, totally different people. I could never imagine Matt at like a party, a kickback. Like, I just feel like they're not the same. So that fizzled out. It didn't work out. Baby, Clay still feels triggered by that. I don't know why Clay feels so triggered by Matt. I really don't. Like, it triggers this man so bad that AD talked to Matt. But yeah, girl, that is basically everything that happened in this reunion. And y'all, that is just crazy. One little story also came out with Jimmy, where Jimmy apparently said he's open to dating AD. Man, put out the script. This man said he is open to dating AD. Jimmy. So I don't know, guys. I guess it's TBD if AD and Jimmy go on a date. But girl, that was the reunion. Like I said, this joint was good. I feel like this was exceptional hosting. I feel like they got straight to the questions. They went on Reddit. They went on TikTok. They went on Instagram. They went on Twitter and Threads. And they got the things that we want to know. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't really like how they didn't give us a clear explanation of whether Jimmy and Chelsea and AD and Clay were together, but especially by both of their body language, particularly AD and Clay's, it seemed like they weren't. AD and Clay seem to be standing 10 toes down that they're not, but that's what she said in the postseason interview. But girl, this video is long, so I'm gonna end it here. Let me know your thoughts. What did you guys think? Did you like this reunion? If you watched until here, please like the video, share, subscribe, comment. And guys, I probably will be going live. I'm not sure what day yet because I'm actually really busy for the next few days, but TBD when I will go live. I will announce it on my community tab a day before or something like that, so you guys will know. But yeah, my camera has overheated like 3 times recording this, so I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for supporting me throughout this Love is Blind season, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!